Hello, happy Friday afternoon, 4 p.m. and ready for another fabulous topic selected by you. So today we're going to be talking about the 3 lies which will keep you suffering and heartbroken indefinitely. So my name's Naomi Stockman from Anxiety Free Life and My Local Hypnosis. And so there's no one actually online at the moment, but if you do jump on, just throw your names, allow StreamYard to see your name, because if you want to make a comment, I won't be able to see who it is otherwise. So let's get started. First lie that will keep you, and these are unconscious beliefs that are stuck inside our programming. They're things that we picked up as children, right from the day we were born, or in that first 7 to 12 years of our lives. The first one is, I deserve to be punished. I deserve to suffer. And I'm consolidating these. So I deserve to be punished might be one. I deserve to suffer might be another, but they go hand in hand. And it's very, very easy for us as young children to pick these lies up, because if you think about the way that people have been parented, it doesn't take much for a child to pick up the message, I deserve to be punished. I am bad. I deserve to suffer. And it's just experiential. It's experiential. Hello there, I see you. I don't know who you are. Just chuck your name into the chat and I'll be able to see who it is. Okay, I deserve to be punished. I deserve to suffer. The second one, and we'll break them down a little bit more deeply after, is I am unimportant. I am worthless. I am shit. I deserve to be treated like shit. So this is a boundary thing. This is where perhaps as kids, when we were growing up, our needs weren't important, our thoughts weren't important, our feelings weren't important. We might have been a sensitive person, our feelings weren't considered. There might have been boundary issues. Hello, Larissa. Having to please others, having to put other people's emotions, feelings, and happiness first. So other people if they're not happy, taking it out on us as young children, helpless, vulnerable, powerless children, and then us feeling that everything is my fault. So I'm a worthless piece of shit and I deserve to be treated like shit. And you'll see this. The second topic that we could have talked about is toxic bonds, toxic relationships, and there's going to be a theme there. Hi, Damien. The third one is that I am unlovable. I'm not worthy of love, or I'm not good enough to have love in my life. Those 3 lies will keep you heartbroken. They will keep you suffering and in a state of anguish throughout your life. So how do we get those lies programmed into us? How do we know if we have them, and how do we get rid of them? Well, the first way to know if you have any of these is if you are experiencing heartbreak, if you're experiencing suffering, if you have a life where you continuously feel like life is a punishment, if people are abandoning you, rejecting you, hurting you, especially people who are meant to love you. So this comes from our childhood. It's childhood stuff, and it can even come from past generations. And I talk about this all the time. It doesn't need to be even from your family. It can be from school. It can be when you went to school that life wasn't good at school. People may have rejected you, bullied you, ridiculed you, shamed you, made you feel like you weren't good enough or likable. That perhaps you had teachers, if you had learning or behavior difficulties that made you feel that you were a bad kid or deserved to be punished. It only takes one person, one experience for the unconscious mind to pick this stuff up. And once it's in there, the sad and terrible thing is that we continue playing these things out in our life until they are resolved and reprogrammed. So the unconscious mind is simply taking the programming. Once something's programmed in, we need to identify what it is and then have a look at it and then reprogram in something else. And you can always feel when there's something there, because you'll be experiencing the emotion. So imagine there's a small child and that child experiences something like abandonment or betrayal, or witnesses abandonment and betrayal. So a lot of the time it's not even our abandonment. If parents divorce or break up, mum and dad go their separate ways, it's like, okay, these people loved each other, now they don't love each other anymore, and what's that mean for me? It's probably my fault. Feeling that things are your fault. having that I don't feel loved, and that doesn't mean that you weren't loved. It just means that the feeling of being loved wasn't met or fulfilled. Feeling of safety might not have been fulfilled. Feeling of being valuable, important, and good. So if a child feels bad or like a bad person, they're going to carry that around for the rest of their life, and they're going to reenact it. Hey, Michelle. So feeling like you're a burden or you're unwanted or you're in the way. And this happens like just something simple like mum and dad work a lot can be a message that you're feeling like you're not important or unvaluable. So how do we resolve this stuff? Because our unconscious mind doesn't know what to do with this stuff. So as children, we just get these imprints into our programming, and our unconscious mind has no clue what to do with that. It just sits there unresolved. And so what happens in life is that we replay not the situation, but we replay our life in a way that will return the emotions. It's like it just echoes back. It just keeps going on repeat. So if you had a situation where you felt like you were a piece of worthless shit as a child, and it just could be something simple where, you just didn't feel valuable or important, then that will continue to resurface again and again and again. And it might be like, I hear people say, what am I doing wrong? How come everybody else can seem to find happiness and I just keep getting shit in my life? And that feeling, every emotion that we experience in life is just like a reflection back of something that's been programmed into the unconscious. So when we can change our unconscious programming, and it is just programming, none of this stuff's true. If something feels bad in our life, there's got to be some kind of lie behind it, because nothing that's true feels bad. You are not bad. You are not worthless. You are not unlovable. You are completely the opposite. Every single one of us is lovable. Every single one of us has good within them. And even if things haven't felt that way in the past, that doesn't mean that the future is a reflection of that. That the future can be anything that we make it. So the truth is good, and it's really important to know that. And if it isn't good, if it doesn't feel good, then it's not the truth. It's one of these lies. So no one needs to live with lies. No one needs to live with pain or suffering or rejection or hurt or heartbreak. And that's why it's so important to recognize if there are feelings and emotions that are coming up in our lives that are not what we want, that we, instead of just continuing, it's like if you were going for a long walk and you had a pebble in your shoe and you're like, gee, these shoes hurt. It hurts me every time I walk. You don't sit down and stop walking. You find out what's the cause of the pain and then remove that thing. And that's like these unconscious things, these lies that are in our mind, in our unconscious mind. And unconscious means we don't know that they're there. So sometimes I'll say to people, potentially, just say, for example, we're talking about the one, I'm shit, I deserve to be treated like shit. So if somebody comes in, they're like, everybody treats me like shit, like my family treats me like shit, my friends treat me like shit. And so I might suggest to them, is it possible that there is a belief there that you're a piece of shit and you deserve to be treated like shit? And it doesn't sound like a very nice thing to ask. And they would say, I'm not shit, that's not there. But the truth is that if life's reflecting the unconscious programming, then there has to be something in the unconscious that supports that, for that to be allowed to be there, for that experience to keep coming up. And so it's so, so important to just look around in our life and say, what's showing up for me? What's showing up in my life? Is heartbreak showing up in my life? What's under the heartbreak? Is it I'm not lovable, or is it people who are meant to love me abandon me, reject me, hurt me, betray me? It's looking at the track record, the repeat pattern, and finding out what it is. And it is really, really easy to retrain the unconscious, really easy to get to the root of what this stuff is. So it's like, when you have like fireweed or dandelions in your lawn and you just keep mowing over them, but then they keep growing back. So the only way to get this stuff to not keep coming back in your life is to get it down to the root and pull it out. And then you could plant whatever you wanted there. You can plant anything you want into your unconscious mind. It's like a garden, and it literally just is ready and willing to take on whatever it is that it's given, but it needs to be programmed. And how we program, we speak into what we want and create it for ourselves. This unconscious mind stuff is very profound. Absolutely, it's profound. And if only we'd known this sooner and earlier, and there are people who did know this earlier, and you can see how they've transformed their life. So as you said, speaking is a huge, huge, powerful thing. However, the unconscious mind needs more than just words. And I know that if we just say words and it feels like a lie, it just doesn't impact. So I can say, I'm a leprechaun or I'm a zebra, and my unconscious mind goes, no, you're not. And I'm not going to suddenly turn into a zebra or a leprechaun because I say that. But what actually impacts the unconscious is when we take those words, we create a imagination and experience, because the unconscious mind works with experiences, and we don't remember. Every experience we have is not impactful. Like, I can't even remember whether I did or didn't brush my teeth this morning. It wasn't really an impactful thing. I'm sure I did because it's a habit, but it wasn't impactful. But what would be impactful if I had like a very wild emotional experience brushing my teeth? So we need imagination. We need emotion. Repetition is really profound. Like, so anything that happens repeatedly, is impactful. The unconscious mind goes, yeah, that happened once. Hang on, it happened twice. Hang on, it happened 3 times. Now we're getting some traction. It's a repeat pattern. So you won't remember if you just walked a particular pathway once, you won't maybe remember that walk. But if you walked it every Saturday morning, you would remember that pathway was familiar to you. So trance, emotion, repetition, and imagination. The unconscious mind does not know the difference between real and imagined. So anytime you're imagining something vividly with emotion, you're going into a really focused state. And yeah, it does make sense. And that's how we create change. Repetition. Beautiful. So if there is something appearing in your life, heartbreak, hurt, betrayal, abandonment, suffering, punishment. And look, if we grew up in a family or in a environment where punishment was a thing, where it was like, how dare you do that, you naughty child, get out of my sight, well, look what you've done now, like all that kind of stuff, then that's going to be a very powerful message that child's going to have taken on. And we don't know what's there, because you've got no before to compare it to. If something happens to you when you're 20, like, people come to me and they say, I'm feeling anxious, or I'm so depressed, I want my old self back, because they have a before the event. Like, if something happened, like if they had a situation at age 20, they can remember being 18 and carefree and happy. When stuff happens to you as you're growing up, there is no before. This is it. That's who you think you are. That's what you think you're worth. That's how you think you should be treated. That's how important you think your feelings are. If you go to speak and your mum says, look, be quiet, dad's talking, your voice isn't important. I mean, there's obviously appropriate ways to teach your children how to engage, but if it's kind of like, just shut up, then it's going to be that I mean, no matter how much fun and love and laughter is in your family and your life, you're going to be, it's better if I just be quiet, because nothing I say really has any importance. No one listens to me anyway. Go through life with that in your backpack, and life starts to become a lot heavier and a lot harder when your voice isn't heard. That's just one form of suffering. Punishment, suffering, silence, feeling unlovable, feeling not good enough, feeling unworthy, feeling not capable of doing stuff on your own, having no confidence. All these things make life hard, and we just need to just grab those little dandelion fireweed things and pull them out and plant something that's going to be supportive and powerful and give us the resources we need in order to go out into the world and stop being on this wheel, repeating the little heartbreaks of our programming. Life is meant to be joyful, easy, rewarding. Yes, of course, there's going to be challenges, and every problem that we have gives us opportunity to gain new resources, to check what's going on for me here? Why is this a problem? How would this not be a problem? What would I need in order to put this problem behind me, etc.? It's not that there's not going to be challenges. It's just that the emotional state that keeps coming up can be really impactfully changed when we change the programming in our unconscious mind and get those beliefs. They are simply lies, hectic lies. And this is why hypnotherapy is one way to shift stuff, is because the trance component, the emotion, repetition, imagination, and trance. And when we do hypnosis, we can utilize all that stuff, create new imaginings, new truths, address some of the other stuff. But no solution that comes from a therapist is your solution, because we all have inside us our own solutions, our own resources. We actually have within us everything we need in order to live a happy life. It's just about getting those lies out of the way, peeling back the layers, and finding the truth of who we are. And like I said, the truth is good. And if it doesn't feel good, then it's not the truth. I hope something resonated for you with some of that. If you have any questions, throw me an inbox. I'll be happy to engage. And I actually stepped out of a course to jump on for 4 p.m. today. So I'm going to jump back into that. I've got another 2.5 hours of training today. So I will be doing a couple of lives about some of that training in the future as well. Have a beautiful day, and talk again next Friday, 4 p.m. Thanks for watching.